Hello and welcome to Nltv News. Now this is Johanna Muri and we'll start with the headlines. Naga Students Federation and Eastern Naga Students Federation reminds Nagaland government to streamline and rationalize SSA and RMSA teachers of 2010 and 2013 batches before April 17th. Both federation in a joint statement reminds Nagaland Chief Secretary about the joint agreement between the NSF and ENSF and the state government. A meeting of the Parliamentary Committee on Naga Political Issues stated to be held on April 9 at Chief Minister's Residence Complex State in Banquet Hall in Kohima. Member Secretary of Parliamentary Committee on Naga Political Issue, Neba Krono, requests all panel members, MLAs and MPs of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to attend the meeting. Department of Power of Dimapur Electrical Circle notifies meters readers not authorized to collect money in a form of Consumers Department informs consumers to never ask meter readers or any other staff of the department for paying electricity bill for any other purpose as service connection and other departmental activities. Dimapur District Excise Officer, Narcotic Cell and Mobile Squad of Excise Department destroys Indian-made foreign liquor worth 2.72 crore during a combined exercise on April 7. Notably, the total number of seized materials destroyed at the event were about 2,05,961 bottles of assorted IMFL and 116 litres of country liquor pertaining to 308 cases under the Nagaland Total Liquor Prohibition Act 1989. United Nations General Assembly suspends Russia from the United Nations Human Rights Council on Thursday over the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Group of countries including United States, Ukraine, European Council and several Latin American countries proposes a resolution to suspend the rights of membership of the Russian Federation, after which the voting took place. Now the news in details. The Parliamentary Committee on Nagaland Political Issue Member Secretary Neba Krono informed all elected members and 2 members of the Parliament to attend a meeting which is scheduled to be held on April 9 at 10 a.m. at the State Banquet Hall, Chief Minister's Residence Complex. Krono therefore requested all members to take part in the meeting with a positive thought. The Naga Students Federation and Eastern Naga Students Federation have reminded the Nagaland government to streamline and rationalize SSA and RMSA teachers of 2010 and 2013 batches before April 17th. Both the Federation on Wednesday submitted a joint statement where it reminded the Nagaland Chief Secretary about the joint agreement between the NSF and ENSF and the state government. The statement pointed out that the state government, through a notification dated October 2020, assured to put the matter to rest once and for all within 18 months. The Federation informed that a waiting period of 18 months will expire on April 17th and reminded that the state government that no extension whatsoever will be entertained in solving the long-pending issue. They further maintained that the failure of the state government will uphold the agreement shall compel the 2 federations to take up befitting actions in the interest of teaching community of the state. The Dimapur District Excise Office, Narcotic Cell and Mobile Squad and Excise Department has destroyed an Indian-made foreign liquor worth 2.72 crore during a combined exercise conducted on April 7. Notably, the total number of seized materials destroyed at the event were 2,05,961 bottles of assorted IMFL and 116 litres of country liquor pertaining to 308 cases under the Nagaland Total Liquor Prohibition Act 1989. It may be mentioned that Kakoto Sumi, Deputy Commissioner of Excise Narcotics Cell of Dimapur, in a press release stated that liquor was destroyed at the Excise Director in Complex in Dimapur. Moreover, a program was also held with the Deputy Commissioner Excise as the chairperson of the Liquor Destruction Board. A workshop cum skill training for women on use of mobile application was held on Wednesday at the DC's conference hall in Wokha. Notably, the program was organized by District Skill Committee Wokha, Wokha District Administration and DLCWMSK under Beti Bachao Beti Padhao in collaboration with National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology in Kohima. It is to be mentioned that the workshop was conducted in 3 sessions. The first and the third session was taken by Morinemba Joint Director, National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology, while during the second session was taken by Technical Officer, National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology, Muasanab Kichu. The Department of Power of Dimapur Electrical Circle has notified that meter readers are not authorized to collect money in any form of consumers. The Power Department on Thursday informed that a consumer to never ask meter readers or any other staff of the department for paying electricity bill or any other purpose such as service connection and other departmental activities. Meanwhile, Y. Akito Sema, Executive Engineer of Dimapur Electrical Division, through a press release notified that such activities are to be routed through the subdivisional office. It further added that cash counters at various subdivisions and specified locations at Dipubar NR Dipubar police stations and DDSC Stadium and online payment mode through portal www.dopn.government.in are the only legal places for payment of electricity bill. Moreover, the department cautioned that if any employees are found caught involving in such illegal activities, severe actions without further notice will be initiated. The School Education Department has notified all the DEOs, senior SDEOs and SDEOs to direct all the schools falling under a specific jurisdiction to put up a signboard measuring 3 into 2 feet within the school premises or the school gates stating that the sale of cigarettes and other tobacco products within 100 meters of educational institution is prohibited and the defaulters will be punished under COTPA 2003. The School Education Principal Director Sanavas C. stated that the measure was taken up to set a tobacco-free environment in school educational institutions. In the recently held survey by Global Youth Survey shows that 43% of school students under the age of 13 to 15 years were using tobacco. Hence, Shanavas C. stated that the initiative has been taken up in accordance with the provisions of Section 6B of COTPA 2003. Indian Red Cross Jamino District organized a free health camp covering 3 villages under Togin Range of Tuesday. It is to be mentioned that 6 doctors from the Health and Veterinary Department took part in the camp. Notably, 150 patients availed the treatment and 200 animals were vaccinated during the camp. Newly upgraded Government High School at DC Colony and Science Stream was introduced at Government Higher Secondary School Peran on Thursday. School Education Advisor Katie Shikalu inaugurated the GS Government High School Shikalu. Government High School Shikalu in his inaugural address remarked that educating a child is collective responsibility of both the community and the department and that the government is providing all the facilities. Meanwhile, Shikalu, during his address at the introduction of Science Stream program, assured to provide the required facilities. Shikalu further stated that the shortage of qualified postgraduate teachers will soon be addressed across the state. The sixth phase on the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana scheme was flagged off on Thursday at FCI Godown in Kejavu colony in Dimapur. Notably, the scheme is a poor initiative as part of government's economic response to ameliorate hardship faced by the poor due to the economic disruption caused by COVID-19 pandemic. It is to be mentioned that a flag-off was done by Director of Food and Civil Supplies V. Lovitolisema in the presence of the Additional Deputy Director, Assistant Director of Supply R&D, FCI General Manager, FCI Additional Manager, FCI Depot Manager and staff of the Directorate including the MIS and R&D branch. The first Popoto International Departmental Store sports meet commenced on Thursday at the local ground Pohopoto. Notably, sports meet was declared open by MLA Y. Vikeho Su, while speaking at the two-day event, thanked all the employees posted in Pohopoto for their participation and appealed them to remain consistent and committed. He further encouraged citizens to contribute in any way to produce sports people in the state. It is to be mentioned that a sports meet is underway in three disciplines, that is football men, badminton men doubles and mixed doubles and women's volleyball exhibition match. A mock drill exercise was held on Tuesday at Chumukedima, whereby the exercise stimulated the 1897 earthquake of magnitude 8.7 Richter scale which occurred in Shillong. It is to be mentioned that the exercise has been organized by National Disaster State Management Authority in collaboration with NDRF and SDRF. Notably, the exercise took place at St. Joseph Higher Secondary School and Buto Marketing Complex Chumukedima. Earlier on Thursday, meeting was held to discuss the response, rescue and rehabilitation preparation plan and strategy to mitigate the damage and the loss of lives and property during the high-intensity earthquakes and other disaster. The officer also had a brainstorming discussion on how to carry out damage assessment at the time of disaster so that resources can be allocated for disaster response and relief operations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday announced that the completion of 3 crore Paka houses under the Pradhan Mantri scheme, Yojana scheme, and added that the houses have also become the symbol of women empowerment. The construction of the houses has been made possible with the participation of the people under PM Modi Awas Yojana Rural. The construction of 2.52 crore houses has been finished with a sanction of 1.95 lakh crore rupees for the purpose. As many as 58 lakh houses have been constructed in urban areas with a sanction of 1.18 lakh crore. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday invited people to share their thoughts and themes and issues that matters to them for the upcoming episode of Man Ki Baat. PM Modi, while inviting people to share their thoughts, said that through Man Ki Baat, the country will celebrate the extraordinary flats at grassroots level changes makers. Furthermore, the PM said that the ideas can be shared through application including My Government NAMO app or by dialing the number 1800117800 to record the message. The 88th episode of Man Ki Baat will take place on 24th April 2022. After the attack on the Gorakhnath temple, the security of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has been increased. CRPF has been deployed in the security cover for the Chief Minister. 2 battalions of CRPF has been deployed at the Chief Minister's Lucknow residence and women personnel will also be deployed around the clock. The decision has been taken up by the government after the attack on Gorakhnath temple. The temple is under high security as is frequently visited by UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who is the head of the share. Nagaland government has issued an alert to the public on regard of the rising financial cybercrimes and fraud in the country and the state. Notably, the government through a notification asked the people to be cautious of the widespread operation of such cyber financial fraudsters and further urged everyone to remain vigilant and follows basic cyber financial guidelines. The notification further mentioned that never open emails, messages from unknown sources and never download unverified apps. Also, whenever there is solicitation or advertisement or information regarding SA income, easy income returns, loans, lottery prize money, cash banks, etc., which appears attractive, one should be vigilant and not be lured by such scams. The Central Bureau of Investigation on Thursday made its first attempt in relation to the Birbhum violence last month. According to sources, the central agency has nabbed as many as 4 suspects in connection with the case and has arrested in Mumbai. In the Birbhum violence, 10 people including 5 women and 2 children were assaulted and then burned to death. The Birbhum killings are alleged to be retaliation after a local Trinamool Congress leader, Badhu Sheikh, who was killed in a crude bomb attack. CBI has been probing into the matters following an intervention by the Calcutta High Court in relation to the case. CBI listed 21 accused people. TMC bloc president Aradul Hussain has been named as the accused. Even West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee on Thursday has ordered the arrest of the leader Hussain for his involvement in the case. Following India's abstention from voting against Russia at the United Nations General Assembly, T.S. Tirumurti, permanent representative to the United Nations, have justified, stating that it has not done so for reason of both substance and process. Envoy Tirumurti Thursday stated that India has chosen any side. It is to be the side of the place it is for an intermediate end to violence. Tirumurti further stated that all decisions should be taken fully respecting due process as the democratic quality and structures enjoins to do so, and added that it applies to international organizations as well, particularly the United Nations. It may be mentioned that since the inception of the Ukraine conflict, India has stood for peace, dialogue and diplomacy. The envoy also said that no solution can be arrived at the shedding blood and cost of lives, and stressed that the Indian condemns the killing of Bucha.
Mr. President, India has abstained on the resolution adopted in the General Assembly today. We do so for reasons of both substance and process. Since the inception of the Ukrainian conflict, India has stood for peace, dialogue and diplomacy. We believe that no solution can be arrived at by shedding blood and at the cost of innocent lives. If India has chosen any side, it is the side of peace, and it is for an immediate end to violence. We continue to remain deeply concerned at the worsening situation and reiterate our call for end to all hostilities. When innocent human lives are at stake, diplomacy must prevail as the only viable option. Recent reports of civilian killings in Bucha are deeply disturbing. We have unequivocally condemned these killings and support the call for an independent investigation.
Congress MP Rahul Gandhi on Friday slammed the Madhya Pradesh government after photos of journalists forced to strip to their undergarments at a police station went viral on social media. The Congress MP took down to Twitter and stated that the fourth pillar of democracy was dismantled in the lockup, while lashing out at the humiliating treatment meted out to the journalist. Gandhi also pointed out that the Bharatiya Janata Party-run government is scared of the truth. It may be mentioned that the journalists and activists were protesting the arrest of the theatre artist Neeraj Kundar, who police claims made obscene remarks against the BJP MLA Karnatat Shukul and his son Gurudutt. The US on Thursday said that a two-on-two dialogue with India will reaffirm the importance of comprehensive and global strategic partnership between the two countries in ensuring international peace and security and shared commitment of a free, open and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. This year's event will celebrate 75 years of diplomatic relations. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will hold the fourth edition of the dialogue with US Defence Secretary Lloyd Austin and Secretary of the State Antony Blinken on April 11 in Washington. European Council Chief Charles Michel on Thursday blacked out the proposal of releasing an additional €500 million to Ukraine to provide arms. The proposal was agreed on Thursday by 27 EU nations at the ambassador level. EU has already agreed a €1 billion package to provide arms to Kyiv, and the extra is from a €5 billion European peace fund set up by member states. The World Health Organization said on Thursday that over 100 attacks on health services in Ukraine were made as it called for humanitarian access to besieged city of Mariupol, who verified 103 incidents of attacks of healthcare workers, with 73 people killed and 51 injured, including healthcare workers and patients, who Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said that they are outraged over the continuous attacks of healthcare workers, stating that it was a violation of international humanitarian law. The European Union on Thursday approved an embargo on Russian coal, as well as the closing of the bloc's ports of Russia vessels over the Ukraine war. An official from the French presidency of European Council said that the move spearheaded a very substantial fifth round of sanctions against Moscow. The new measures were proposed after bodies of dozens of civilians were found in Bucha. This is the first time the Europeans have targeted the Russian energy sectors on which they are heavily dependent. The EU nations import 45% of their coal from Russia, worth €4 billion a year. United Nations General Assembly suspended Russia from United Nations Human Rights Council on Tuesday after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. A group of countries including the United Nations, United States, Ukraine, European Council and several Latin American countries proposed a resolution on suspension of the rights of membership of the Russian Federation. After which the voting took place. It is to be mentioned that around 93 countries voted in favor of draft resolution, 24 countries voted against it, while 58 countries abstained from voting. Notably, India abstained from voting, making it the third abstention on the votes regarding the Human Rights Council. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen at the U.S. House Financial Services Committee hearing questions about Russia's future in the G20 stated that the Russians should be expelled from the Group of 20 and added that the U.S. will boycott a member of G20 meetings if Russian officials show up. The remarks came in the wake of Russia's brutal invasion in Ukraine and after emerging that the possible war crimes were committed in Bucha, a suburb near capital Kyiv. The Treasury Secretary and Russia's invasion and killing in the Bucha were irreprehensible and will have enormous economic repercussions in the Ukraine and beyond. Ukraine Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal took to Twitter thanking the UN for all humanitarian aid received since Russia's invasion, but further stated that it needs more assistance. The Ukraine Prime Minister met UNAID Chief Martin Griffiths in Kyiv on Tuesday. He tweeted grateful for the comprehensive humanitarian aid and stressed that the need to increase support and unite efforts to provide target financial assistance to Ukraine suffering from Russian aggression. The The U.S. Congress on Thursday voted to end normal trade relations with Moscow and codified a ban on Russian oil as the White House retches in the up pressure of the President Vladimir Putin over his invasion on Ukraine. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and the Putin must be held accountable for the despicable war crimes committed against Ukraine. The ban includes banning of Russian oil importing, seizing assets of billionaires tied to Putin, and freezing the nation's stockpile of cash. Lucknow Super Giants defeated Delhi Capitals by 6 wickets at the D.Y. Patel Stadium in Navi Mumbai to win the third successful match of the ongoing IPL. Lucknow Super Giants captain K.L. Rahul won the toss and put Delhi into a bat on what was tricky surface at the D.Y. Patel Stadium. Prithvi Shaw got the Capitals off the blazing start with some fine boundary hitting at David Warner watched on the other end. Delhi Capital posted a target of 149 runs. In the second innings, Lucknow Super Giants chasing 150 were anchored by Quinton de Kock, who scored 80 runs off 52 balls. Quinton de Kock smashed his second half century of IPL 2022 as Lucknow Super Giants chased 150 for victory against Delhi Capitals. Delhi Capitals have now lost 2 back-to-back matches and continue to grow weak at the bottom of the point table, just above Chennai Super Kings, Mumbai India and Sunrisers Hyderabad. The Premier League leaders Manchester City will be hosting Liverpool, who are currently in a point behind them on the table. Man City with 73 points while Liverpool with 72. Klopp's side will arrive at the Etihad Stadium knowing an 11 successive league win would put them in 2 points ahead of their rivals, a small but significant advantage at the stage on this season. However, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp insists that beating the Manchester City will not guarantee them a success in the Premier League despite Sunday's meeting being highly favoured as the title decider. The slightest error, Klopp knows that the race will be far from the over, especially as his side will have the harder looking run, with the matches against Everton and Manchester United to come before the end of the month. Top Indian shutters PV Sindhu and Kidambi Srikanth progressed to the semi-finals of the Korea Open Super 500 badminton tournament with contrasting wins on Friday. Third seed Sindhu, a 2 Olympic medalist, notched up her 17th win over a familiar foe, Thailand's businessman Ong Bang Kumban, 21-10, 21-16 in the women's single quarterfinals. Sindhu will face either Japan's Sina Kawakami or the second-seeded Korean A.N. Seong in semi-finals, in a battle between 2 former world number ones. It was World Championship silver medalist Srikanth who rode in the power and precisions to outwit local hope Won Ho, 21-12, 18-21, 21-12 in the men's singles quarterfinals match that lasted over an hour. The Indian seeded 5th will face the winner of the match between Thailand's 8th-seeded Kunlavut Widersen and 3rd-seeded Jonathan Christie of Indonesia. That is all for now. Thank you for tuning in. For more updates, keep watching Nagaland TV.
Nagaland TV, Sop Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapur viewers, we are on channel number 10 in Global Chapter, and for Kohima and Mokokchung viewers,